Welcome back to the Have Not Room. I am Ben, and I am here with Chad and Brian, and we are back for another season of Big Brother. We are here to talk about BB26. We're going to cover the two-night premiere, the first Sunday night episode, and preview the upcoming Wednesday and Thursday night, including trying to preview the upcoming eviction, but definitely this season, as long as those twist is in place, it's going to be a lot harder for us to try to preview evictions. Welcome back, guys. Right off the bat, we have any I know we have to go over our winner picks as well, but before we do that, just immediate kind of vibes about the season.
Yeah, Chad, do you want to start it off?
Yeah, I mean, so far so good. I think it's a pretty interesting cast overall. I haven't noticed any super duds, and there's a handful of people that I really like. I think Quinn is hilarious, even though he's not my winner pick. And Sam's really good. So I think we have a really good cast overall. So I'm excited to see what the season brings. And the twist isn't as dumb as I thought it was going to be, given Big Brother's legacy here. But yeah, man. So far, so good. I mean, we're only 3 episodes in, so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The twist is campy, but I wouldn't say the mechanics are bad. Right. It's very, very campy.
You didn't like the AI chatbot being a part of the season.
We'll get into it.
Are they just gonna replace Julie? We joke about Julie being a robot, but now they're just we have this AI that can just be the host. Sorry, Julie.
Well, in the promo stuff for the season, they had Julie talking to a hologram Julie.
Right.
She was like, "This is I'm here with Chenbot," and they were really leaning into it. And then they went with the monster from the Blue Lagoon.
Yeah, the design leaves a lot to be desired for sure. It reminds me a lot of the aliens in that I'm Blue music video from the 90s.
Yeah.
Definitely, would fit right in that. Also want to address, I'm reporting, I think, from the Scaryverse. I couldn't find my background today. So
another region finally became relevant again,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It is taken over my recording studio. But yeah, so just a strange twist. I guess they were look, we want a host of some sort for the parts where Julie isn't live. So we're just going to, instead of having, the players host, we're just going to have this AI, chatbot be the host, which is fine. I mean, Ben, you and I really loved, my God, I'm going to forget the name of it, by the guy who made the Genius, The Devil's Plan.
Oh, The Devil's Plan,
where that had a faceless host. And it was
the Genius also does. They both have
it works. The design really bad. I think we can agree on that. But I don't hate it overall, and I think the twist is interesting. I'm certainly somebody who's very when I hear oh, Big Brother's doing a twist, I get oh God, what is it gonna be? Because historically they haven't been great. And the game itself is really good if you don't touch it. And then I heard this one, I was like, oh yeah, it's fine. It makes it interesting because nominating 3 people, bad vibes, potentially nominating 4 people in a week, bad vibes. And that's good. That is a way to break up big alliances by just causing a little bit more tension each week, and giving people's targets multiple opportunities, including one that you cannot get around, the chance to stay. I think it's fine.
Yeah, I agree. I think my 2 biggest complaints are, one, the 2-night premiere didn't work for me. I think honestly, if that was a 1-night 2-hour episode, I would have liked it better. But having to watch an episode Wednesday night and then watch basically the exact same episode the night after, back to back, like I was zoned out. That also delayed the feeds coming on an extra 24 hours because they actually moved in on the Tuesday, so we didn't actually get feeds until like 48 to 60 hours after they had already been in the house.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if they just done a 2-night or a 2-hour 1-night premiere, we could have got feeds within like 36 hours, which would have been a lot better. And it would have been like less,
Mm-hmm.
like the pacing of the episode probably would have been better as a 2-hour episode instead of 2 1-hour back-to-backs. And then my other complaint is like, I guess this isn't really a complaint. It's more as like a weirdness because like I think it works out in how it played, but like we have 2 powers that are given out here during this 2-night premiere. One that ends up going to Mackenzie, who also goes by MJ in the house. So if I say MJ or MJ gets referenced on the episode, MJ equals Mackenzie. And then one gift got given to Quinn for them correctly deciding to vote yes on Ainsley, and then also winning their comps. These 2 powers are not anywhere near the same level of power. Quinn's is like significantly better than MJ's by like an order of magnitude. It's like I don't know, like I don't mind them getting powers. I think 2 powers is like an okay number to have in the game, as opposed to previous seasons where you have like 4 or 5 of these things floating around. But yeah, where's the balance on these powers? MJ sucks in comparison to Quinn's.
Yeah, and like MJ's power in a vacuum, good. She has a veto in her pocket. That if she gets on the block, she has a veto. She can't influence who goes up, but neither can the HOH. So it's not something you would probably use to save an ally. But for yourself, it's in an immunity equivalent. Yeah. Quinn's is awesome.
Yeah, it's a borderline coup d'etat. Like,
yeah, Quinn has an HOH in his pocket.
Yeah.
Quinn is in a spot right now where, like, if he, and I think he seems like he's going to be a good player, but if Quinn needs to win HOH, Quinn has already won HOH.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on the powers, Chad?
I mean, just going back to the whole 2-night premiere, I totally agree. It just felt like watching the same thing twice. And I don't know, I feel like them saying no, there should have been almost like a counter power for winning that instead of just not losing. But I mean, I get the gist of it. But yeah, Quinn's power is just like way better than MJ's or Mackenzie's or whatever's. But like Brian said, I mean, Mackenzie's she saves her own butt. Quinn's is just he has a free HOH, so it's like they're both good in their own way. But I mean, if you're your own HOH, you don't really got to worry about losing a veto, or needing to use one on yourself. So yeah, I mean, the whole 2-night thing it was definitely weird. At least I've never watched a season where they've done that. Usually everyone just moves in the same episode. But no, I mean, these powers are busted in their own way, but I don't mind the veto one. The HOH one is just crazy.
Yeah, it's been a while since they did a 2-night premiere like this. I'm trying to remember when the last time was.
I can't think of it.
Yeah, it's been. I think it's been quite a while. Maybe 17 or something like that. I can't remember. I think they all moved in the same night. Well, 17 they had the coaches kind of come in a little late.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know.
No, it was definitely reminiscent.
Not 17, 18, I was thinking. Yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely reminiscent of Battle of the Block for sure.
Yeah.
Half comes in, play a thing, and then the other half comes in. I almost thought when I saw that they were doing like 2-night premiere, I was like, maybe it's gonna be Battle of the Block again. Which no, thank you. We don't need that again. The only thing that was interesting about Battle of the Block is the fact that Derek somehow made it to the end of the game without being nominated, despite having so many extra nominations. Yeah, that was like, in retrospect, very impressive, but the Battle of the Block does nothing for me.
Yeah, well, the problem with Battle of the Block is the cast members of BB16 immediately solved it and like immediately figured out how to like game it by like having like kind of a dummy HOH and have their, put up pawns and the pawns throw so that you can execute a backdoor. Like it definitely required a very specific house structure where you had like a very like kind of cult-like alliance formed around, in this case, like Derek and Cody. And so it worked very specifically in that instance. But even in BB17, which was a much more chaotic season, there was still, and also had Battle of the Block, there were still aspects of it where it was like still gamed. So yeah, I think this is kind of fulfilling the promise that Battle of the Block broke. At least so far, we haven't seen it play out a full week yet, so we can't like fully comment on it. But the whole AI arena where there's 3 nominees and they all go into the live eviction and they play a competition live during the eviction episode to have one of them be saved and then have like a last minute like down to 2. I think there's a lot of interesting things that can be done with this, especially like if they do continue having more equitable comps, because otherwise it would just be like a way for the strong bros to have an extra bailout. But yeah, I think not knowing who the final 2 nominees are going to be until like minutes before the eviction is pretty interesting.
Yeah, I think that's the part that makes it so tricky. I feel like if they had like a day or even a few hours, it would be a lot less. Okay, you could definitely game that. But when it's a split-second decision like that, I mean, you can definitely like plan it out where it's like, okay, I want my 1 pawn to throw and just have this person not win, then great. But yeah, I didn't realize they only had like minutes to really pick. So yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to be like, it's less than an hour for sure, like probably less than even a half an hour, because it has to fit into an hour, live episode. So presumably like they'll start the episode, do the comp, and then like 30 minutes left, they'll vote. So like they probably have like maybe 20 minutes between knowing who the final 2 noms are and actually executing the vote at least.
That's gonna be wild.
But yeah, also like to that point though, it's not really in your favor to have a pawn in the block that's willing to throw for you, because like unlike Battle of the Block where a pawn throwing allows you to retain power and potentially execute a backdoor. In this instance, you want your pawns. You almost like kind of counterintuitively want your pawns to win and take themselves off the block. Like Chemo winning and coming off the block is best case scenario for Angela, and Chemo was like the quintessential pawn that she put on the block this week. So it's very interesting where you kind of need pawns that are almost good at comps, and so it almost incentivizes you to nominate people who are good at comps who you like trust not to come after you again. It's very kind of counterintuitive,
right?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, and the comps are probably going to have to be set up in a way to where they can also set up an HOH competition. So they're probably not going to be like these big competitions. So they're going to be like probably way more like variance in who can win them. So even like, nominating a comp beast, they might just have something that they're not good at all.
A lot of those like guessing ones with the tiebreaker being, hey, how many minutes have you been in the house? Right. I see that kind of comp coming up.
Yeah, I do too. Something simple that they can, just
with like the ball pit comp where it's like 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think like so far, like knock on wood, the comps have been pretty good. Like I definitely got bored of watching 4 comps across the 2-hour premiere, but like objectively, the 4 comps, like all of them, pretty much anybody could have won any of them, right? Like it was like we got, as far as like talking about gender equality with the comps, we had a male and a female winner and a male and a female loser. Like that's, we've already gotten like more women winning comps in this season than the entirety of last season.
That's a win for PR, baby.
It's a win for us as viewers who who knows who's going to win a comp like at any point. I saw that, and obviously spoilers for the future, but this was the first time that a woman won the veto first since Alex and BB19. so long ago.
I also saw, again, we're going to talk about what happens for the rest of the week. But, Lisa's going to come down, Matt's going to go up. This is the only time in civilian Big Brother US where only men have been on the block on eviction night week 1. That's only time in the history of the franchise.
That's crazy.
In 26 seasons, this is the first time ever that there hasn't been a woman facing eviction night 1 or week 1.
Which is good. It feels like they went back to the drawing board after BB25, and we're like, okay, that can't happen again.
Well, isn't there one more woman in the house too? What was the
no.
9-7?
No, we were speculating because we had Ainsley, right? Like we were like, oh, they're gonna put a 17th contestant in, but no, it's 8-8.
It's 8-8. Okay.
Yeah. No, I mean, look, it's like it's actually nuts. Like, yeah, they were like, 5 times in a row. Well, all right, we're not gonna make it 6.
Oh man, but yeah, so that's been good, and from what we've seen so far, the cast has brought it. And by it, I mean their various psychological issues to the house.
Oh my God.
Like the reason we're tuning in to Big Brother is to watch people lose their minds, and they've been delivering already. I've seen people crying a lot, in clips from the feeds. We're 6 days in to Big Brother. It's awesome.
Cedric has cried like 8 times, and I don't think he's even really strategically relevant right now. Like Tucker was. I don't even know why the fuck Tucker was crying like an hour ago. Like,
that's what I was. I don't know. I was talking about it. Like I just saw Tucker crying before.
I don't know why. I have no idea.
Oh my God.
I can't even keep track. Speaking of that, do we want to get out of the way our winner picks really quick?
Oh yeah.
We did them. We did them off. We didn't do a cast review because it dropped the cast less than 48 hours before the show started, and we just couldn't. We couldn't.
We had a House of a Dragon podcast. Check that out. Ben guested this week. But we just didn't have time to do it.
Yeah, we had no time to schedule a podcast though. We're all free for. So, we do our winner picks based off of the ordering of the rankings of the last season. Chad picked America, Brian picked Jared, and I picked Riley. So that was the order that we finished last season. So Chad got.
We're not counting the winter season because we didn't cover it, and also our winner picks tied in their. Cody went out first, but then Xavier and Frankie tied in their placement. So we're just going back to the last real season.
I frankly forgot that we even did winner picture reindeer games because we didn't end up covering it. We talked about covering it if it was good, and it ended up being good. So
it ended up being good. It just during a really good holiday time. Yeah. So shout out! Please do another season of reindeer.
I would
games.
watch that again.
It was super fun.
Perfect.
And it was good to get into the Christmas spirit. I felt like I was like, this is so great.
Yeah, it was a good little treat, on the off season.
Scratches the itch.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Chad. So, Chad's up first, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
I picked Sam based off of Cam. Oh my God, Cam based off.
It's okay. He hasn't really been on the show, and he's been very quiet on feeds.
Right.
Oh yeah. But he's been out of the radar, so that's good for me. But I feel like there's a lot of pretty strong athletic males in the house, and he is, I think, of what we saw of him, I think he has the most athletic background, if you want to put it that way. And
former Division I player, right?
Yeah, I mean,
it's pretty good. Penn State, that's pretty good.
Yeah, seems pretty intelligent. Seems like a pretty laid back, chill guy. So players like that who can bring it physically and, remain calm, typically do well in Big Brother. So, I mean, there was definitely a toss-up, and I think you guys picked some of my backups. But I went with Cam. So let's get another dub here for Team Chadwick.
Yes. So then I picked Joseph. One vibe-based pick, the mustache, love that. Working at a video rental store in 2024, honestly sounds like a dream. I wish that were my job. sounds a lot more interesting than my current job. So like, I don't know. I always try to pick like someone I think who's going to do well, but also someone who like, I say like someone that I'd want to like get a beer with, and I feel like Joseph was like the guy this season that stood out to me. Like I want to hang out with this guy.
Yeah, I did like how everyone in the preseason was like joking about him working at a porno shop because they were like normal video shop don't exist.
Yeah,
like, normal video shop.
It was when it said video shop, I was like, oh okay, I know what that means.
Mm-hmm.
But then apparently I was wrong from either that or
exist.
Yeah, they found like someone's, on one of the CBS backlots, like some video rental place from like Young Sheldon or something that they just filmed. And we're like, we can't actually. Although when his package started, all of the posters were blurred, which was really funny given what we were joking about.
Yeah,
I think it's just like we can't pay for these are not Paramount productions, so we can't show them.
Oh, it's the Avengers. It was the Avengers.
But no, VHS. What would that be? What was like
what are you talking about?
Big superhero movie that came out of like the 90s? Well, Spider-Man probably could have been on VHS, right?
Yeah,
Independence Day, something like that.
Yeah,
I mean, the stash doesn't help that cause either.
No,
I think the stash is what put me over. Like, yeah, this guy sells that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
He tricked us all, and that's the first steps of tricking everyone inside the Big Brother house. So I picked last, and I was Joseph was definitely kind of on my short list, but the two people that I was kind of picking between, I got down to, were Quinn and Tucker, and especially after Quinn getting the power and looking at how he's doing in the house so far, I kind of wish I'd gone the other way, but I did end up going with Tucker. But Tucker is not doing that bad, so it's all right. Definitely a higher ceiling than Riley from last season. So I can't do worse, I think.
Right.
Yeah, those are our winner picks: Cam, Joseph, and Tucker. Obviously, the three of us had zero faith in production fixing the comps and allowing when
that was a big part of it too. It's like I would love to pick Quinn or Leah, but well then Quinn won a comp immediately. So what do I know?
Was Quinn all our like consensus backup?
Right. Yeah.
So
Quinn was
probably gonna be
definitely our backup pick. Yeah, it'll be like BB Can 9 when we all had Tashawn as our backup pick.
Yes.
Winning the season.
And he ends up winning. He's like, we were all that close.
Yep.
But
so that's kind of where we're at. I guess we should jump in. We have to, I think the majority of the rest of the podcast is going to be hard focused on the current star of the season. Our first HOH, Angela, comes away with, really good HOH comp, like really, really fun to follow, and like a really unique take on the like complete crapshoot, like, shuffleboard style competition they've done. That I personally love those types of comps, like the golf ones, the like, slingshot them into a field of numbers. Like truly anybody could win. And it's great for the show. It's fun to watch and follow. And we got Angela as our first HOH.
Not what I thought.
The oldest guy, as the runner-up.
Yep.
So good stuff.
Nobody expected that.
No, especially after the premiere where with her her performance during the like spinning Simon game, not great. Definitely somebody who gets dizzy a lot. So any kind of spinning, like I thought you thought Felicia was bad at spinning comps. Angela equally bad. The only one to not get 4 on the Simon part of the challenge. But yeah, I definitely was surprised when the feeds came through, and like 20 to 30 minutes later, when everyone actually started talking game, we were like, "Oh, Angela's the HOH." Wait, what? Angela's the HOH?
Yeah, hilarious.
So random.
And it's been like a trip, right?
Yeah.
Ooh, man. She probably wanted to win HOH. I don't think she quite anticipated the effect it would have on her. And then 2, the extra dynamics of this HOH with the twist being like extra crazy and really like just destroying her mentals. You know, she's a shell of herself already, it feels.
Yeah, well, I guess let's set up the most important thing here. That's kind of like the first, or like there's like a domino that we see at the start of the episode that kind of like teeters, and then it like starts to fully fall over during the actual one-on-one later in the HOH room.
Oh my god!
But the first thing that we see that's like really like, because this was all before feeds turned on up until like, you know, like most of the episode on Sunday night was before feeds. So a lot of the stuff was stuff we'd heard about, and like, you know, people were referencing these things, but we didn't really have full context on them. We didn't really see them with our own eyes until the episode. The bathroom conversation where Angela makes a comment to Matt about, you know, him potentially getting into a showmance, and you know, this is like the first like domino being set up. I guess, what were your thoughts on this whole kind of like situation playing out, Chad?
I mean, I've only seen the edit on the show, like we all have, and I felt that it was so cringe on Angela, not on Matt. Matt was just like, dude, like it's like day 2, not even. But I mean, she just felt like a mother of like a 35-year-old, like trying to like, when am I gonna get a grandkid? Like that's the vibe it gave me, and I was just like, this is like really cringe. And she kept like laying into him, and she wouldn't stop. I was like, I didn't expect it to become what it is, but it was definitely really weird. I mean, I watch it with my girlfriend. I even commented like, this lady's like insane, but I didn't think it was gonna blow up to be what it is, and we'll get into it, but it was very cringeworthy.
Yeah, it was a weird thing to say to Matt and be like, so like, you're gonna get into a showmance, like it's gonna happen. Because yeah, you said Chad, the game just started. He like just got in there. Who's he supposed to get into a showmance with that quick? You know, so I mean, just a very strange situation from her, and then like very funny for Joseph to kind of be the guy who like spins this out and, you know, really gets it going, and then just like fades back into the background, which is like awesome, I think, for him. I don't think he intended this, but like I do think it's hilarious that it happened where he's like, oh, I just need to like pass along this info. And that being like a core moment for Angela and the beginning of her descent into madness.
Yeah, and like it very much works out. We'll talk about like, because, you know, eventually, like with the blow up that we're going to talk about that they previewed at the end of the episode, like Matt and MJ know somebody went and instilled this information to Angela. Their number one, or at least Matt's number one suspect on the list is ends up being Leah. So yeah, Leah kind of like ends up catching strays for this move that Joseph makes, and like MJ pretty frequently is like, it could be Joseph, like, you know, Joseph could have been the one to do it, and Matt's like, no, it's fucking Leah. So yeah, definitely like really fun play by Joseph. I love, like, there's a lot of shit stirrers in this cast so far, and a lot of like people who are playing very chaotic games. So really a high likelihood that we get kind of chaos, at least for the near future, continuing.
Yeah. You know, we used to call it like the little finger strategy. I guess is it the Laris strategy these days?
Yeah.
So
the master of whisperers.
Yeah, the master of whispers strat of just filling everyone's head with little whispers and seeing what happens.
Yeah. So this eventually is going to lead to, obviously, Matt, not a big fan of Angela after this. Matt and MJ are going to talk heavily, as we referenced, about wanting to target Angela And this actually started on the feeds after they came out, to the point that people thought that Mackenzie was the HOH because she was talking so flagrantly about wanting to target Angela. And then like 20 minutes later, it comes out Angela's the HOH, and everyone on Twitter is like, why are you talking about wanting to target the HOH so openly? That's so stupid. Obviously, like, I think that totally in the right to not be happy with Angela. I think the way that him and MJ end up playing it out, though, after Angela becomes HOH, not great at Big Brother gameplay. And so that leads us to the conversation. Angela wins HOH. She's doing her one-on-ones. And this is what's going to be referenced as Matt threatening a 52-year-old grandmother.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's I guess technically you could characterize it as like a veiled threat. Like, you could read it that way. It was less, less obvious, like less, less direct than I think Angela has made it sound in retellings. But basically, Matt's going to imply that he would actually feel okay going up on the block because he knows that he has people in his corner that would keep him, and that he's just going to come back swinging the next week. Which Angela reads as like him basically like threatening her and being like, "Hey, if you're gonna take a shot at me because you know that like I'm talking shit behind your back, like just know that I'm gonna stay and I'm gonna come after you right after that. So, be careful. Don't do that."
Yeah, what do we think of that as a deterrent? To be like, oh, this is, it wasn't a threat, but it wasn't not a threat either.
Like no balls.
Yeah, right. Yeah. It was, like, I would, Andrew, I would hate for you to do this.
Yeah.
I'd hate for you to unleash this upon yourself. It's kind of one of those where it's like, where he was kind of like, I thought I was going to come up here and be like, oh, are we going to have this? Are we going to like have to have me say these things? But I'm not. I would never have to say that I would come after you and everyone would come after you if you even think about putting me up. Thank God I don't have to do that, Angela. Yeah. And I think she read between the lines and be like, by saying you don't have to do it, you are still saying it. Yeah,
what are your thoughts on this one-on-one, Chad?
I mean, it was like the least ballsy way, and I'm not trying to make a pun here, but to sound cocky. Like it was just like, don't do it because I'll be fine and I'll come after you. But I mean, another cringe-worthy conversation where just like, what is he trying to say to her? Because like, he could have easily just kind of like played it cool and got out of that conversation with Angela, thinking like, okay, maybe he doesn't really care and it's behind us. But in a way, he kind of just like made himself a target by saying all that. So, I mean, whether it's true or not, I don't know if he has the numbers. I'm sure he could win a comp depending on what it is. Maybe not a mental comp, but yeah, it was just like, I think both of them definitely could have handled it way better, especially Matt, given that he's, in the hot seat. And now, I mean, any like decent player of Big Brother would be able to spin that and be like, yeah, Matt just threatened me, so I'm just going to put you up. Sorry.
What great foreshadowing, Chad.
It's just so easy. It's like,
yeah.
It's just like, here's the fire. Like,
mm-hmm.
Well, here's some gasoline, throw it on the fire for me.
Yeah.
Like, it was just like, what are you doing?
And let's be clear here. If Matt does end up going home this week, let's not like act. We're not going to pretend that Angela is a brilliant Big Brother player. Angela this week has been a fucking chaotic mess and has lost a lot of allies and kind of squandered a position that should have been really good. So they're both horrible Big Brother players, and that's what makes it fun. It's like two bad players kind of like going at each other for no reason, just out of like this like kind of immediate dislike and pettiness and incapability of like admitting fault. on both sides.
God.
And it's a lot. It's very good fun. Like this is like the kind of like you know, we talk a lot about, you know, Big Brother having people who hate each other in ways that's like really uncomfortable. But like this is the kind of like, you know, cast that hates each other and like players that hate each other that's like actually like really goofy and fun to watch.
Just for no reason.
You know, Big Brother 10 kind of had that where there's like
it's very
they just hate each other. And then that season's awesome.
There are people who are making Rennie and Jesse comparisons. Like it's there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's there. It's like there's a lot of, you know, I don't want to like, you know, BB10 widely considered one of the best seasons of Big Brother. I don't want to like immediately jump into comparisons less than a weekend. But yeah,
we need a birthday moment, Akeisha's birthday moment before we crown it.
Until we get like you know, Brooklyn's birthday or something. So yeah, that's leading us in. You know, we get a little bit of a sneak peek, and I love they did this. You know, they need to milk this. This is like one of the most fun things that's happened in week one in a while on Big Brother. So I'm glad they're milking it. At the end of the Sunday night episode, they preview the big blow up that is going to presumably be the start of the Wednesday night episode. I wake up Saturday morning. I'm still in my PJs. I turn on the live feeds, and this immediately happens. I'm like, I turn on the live feeds. They're all awake, and it's like 7:30 a.m. their time. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with these people? They were awake at like 4 a.m. Like, what is going on? What are they? No, none of them are sleeping. Okay.
This is why they're so cracked out, right? Yeah. Like, they're losing it.
Yeah. And Angela will reference a lot that she is sleep deprived. She'll say it in multiple of her times blowing up on people. You know, she'll blow up on somebody and then immediately try to walk it back and apologize and be like, "Well, I'm sleep deprived. That's not me. It's not me."
Oh my God.
And then she'll just do it again. Yeah. And I was lucky enough. I was fortunate enough to be able to watch this live, and then I went back and I watched it back again like 3 or 4 times just because it was that good on the Twitter clips. Yeah, Angela comes down the stairs. And nobody in the house other than Angela knows what the fuck is going on. So they think that she's doing like a bit or something. And so they start all clapping alongside with her.
Yeah. I mean, what are you going to do? You know, okay, I guess we're clapping.
Yeah, and Angela's like, Matt. And Tucker still thinks it's a bit. And he's like, what did you do, Matt? And then we get a 10-minute diatribe of Angela, you know, doing basically what Chad foreshadowed, which is spinning the conversation from the HOH room into Matt is threatening little old me. He's so threatened of me. You know, I'm so honored that Matt, crazy-eyed Matt, would be threatened of me, the 50-year-old grandma. And yeah, definitely if you haven't watched it, it's less than 10 minutes. Just go watch it. It's, you know, it's on Twitter, it's on YouTube. You can find the clips because, you know, CBS took away our flashbacks. And so that's the only way we can watch, you know, these things back. And it's brilliant. Obviously they're going to show, I assume they're probably going to show most of it uncut on, you know, they'll obviously edit it down, cut out some of like the fluff, but like, you know, they'll probably get like a 5 to 10 minute segment out of this on the Wednesday night episode. Yeah, there's like so many brilliant lines from Angela, from, you know, your words are shit, so you should just shove it back in your ass, to, you know, you're obviously not that smart, idiot. And you know, these people, they came up to my room and they put on a great show for me. You know, they put on a great performance. Yeah, for a low budget movie.
Damn. Fucking got their ass.
Yeah.
I mean, at least someone pointed out the crazy eyes because I've been thinking that this whole time.
Yeah.
He has weird.
He does have crazy eyes. Angela's right about that. You know, she's sitting on that one. Matt has crazy eyes for sure.
That's the one that's true.
Mm-hmm. And she says it at least 3 times during this 10-minute rant. And she does like this.
Oh my god.
Crazy eyes.
I think I've seen that picture of her doing
Crazy-eyed Matt. This crazy-eyed, you know, what she calls him this crazy-eyed brat. He's walking around saying he's got everyone in his pocket.
This 50-something-year-old woman just bashing this kid who really did nothing to her. It's insane.
Yeah, and also she brings in MJ into this. She says, MJ, you can do so much better, honey. You can do so much better than this guy. Yeah.
Like, we're not in a show, man.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because I already like been like, yeah, you guys are clearly in a show, man. So it's like, no, we're not.
Yeah.
But you know, is this like, I don't know, some kind of new like prejudice against hot people? Just like immediately, just like they're
Wouldn't know,
clearly
Brian.
together.
Well,
Yeah.
Matt explicitly says that. He says that you're stereotyping me for being like, you know, pretty and like, you know, like big and like,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah, but I can't help that he's incredibly good looking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Cedric also talks about how like he got bullied for being too pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very sad, not great, obviously, but funny to hear the plight from the other side.
Mm-hmm.
Hot people have problems too.
Yeah, we've kind of come full circle on Big Brother, where like, you know, for years the show has been like all of the young hot people get together in an alliance and just stomp through the competitions and eliminate all the other people.
Yeah.
And now we finally got to the point where being like young and hot and like fit is actually a disadvantage. Because it's been an advantage for so long that everyone is just so reflexively like hostile towards like young, fit, hot people now on the show.
Yeah. I mean, it's well established being hot's a disability. Going back to Survivor Amazon, Hot in Trouble, you know?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Hey, I'm ugly and I'm proud as
right.
Yeah.
Oh man. So, you know, feel bad, Matt. You know, can't relate. But
yeah, we're gonna come in for the preseason of BB27, and our 3 winner picks are gonna be the 3 ugliest people on the cast.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, so just know that, you know, if you're a cast member and you watch our assessment, if you're on the season next year, you know, if you're one of our winner picks,
you're ugly.
You're ugly. But it's all right. It's all right because that's an advantage now. What a Angela, brilliant casting. Like horrible at Big Brother. Her first HOH has been a complete like, you know, nut show and a complete train wreck. I doubt that she makes jury at this point. She's probably gonna like she's probably like at this point flamed out. Like her best case scenario is people forget about her and there's like other drama that gets stirred up next week or something. Otherwise, like, yeah, like she's lost so much. Like it's actually funny. She's actually retained way more goodwill and allies than she has any business doing. The majority of the house is still on her side in the like Angela versus Matt debate. Part of that could just be Matt is just that bad at Big Brother that he's like somehow still worse than Angela, and part of it again could just be that like people are that reflexively afraid of, you know, young, fit, hot men because like that's just been the meta on modern Big Brother is young, fit, hot men like stomping through the season. So like it's probably a combination of those two things. But yeah, that's kind of like where we leave off after that conversation. There are a lot of people, like people do go and comfort, like Rubina goes and comforts MJ because she's crying over being like dragged into this and basically like, you know, used as like a cudgel to like beat on Matt. Also, something that becomes relevant during the veto ceremony and some of the conversations afterwards is Matt brings up, hey, you know, my mom's going to be watching this. And Angela says, yeah, your mom's going to see how much of a spoiled little brat you are, and like how you threatened an old woman.
Damn.
how she raised a piece of shit, basically.
Oh my
Damn.
God.
Reed walked so Angela could run. Reed calling Baylor a brat to now Angela.
It's Brat Summer.
It's Brat Summer, yeah. Yeah, this is a badge of honor. What is it, Charlie XCX, right? That's yeah. Brat Summer.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Great
yeah,
start.
I mean, yeah, so that's where we land off, headed into the veto draw. We did get confirmation. It was very confusing. We were like not sure whether the HOH is going to be playing in the veto because of some weird miscomms from Lisa, who was like insisting that the HOH wasn't going to be playing in the veto comp, even though we've had 3 nominees before, like several seasons before this one have had 3 nominees, and every time it's always the HOH draws 2 chips, and it's the 4 plus the 2. And that's seemingly what happened this time, where I believe it was MJ and Joseph were the other 2 players in the veto, alongside Angela and the 3 nominees. Lisa comes away with the veto win. It was the spelling comp, the first time in the civilian Big Brother since I think like 16 or 17. Like it's been quite a while, almost 10 seasons, almost 10 years since we've had this competition on Big Brother. It's been a fan favorite. They have not redone for some reason.
That's so crazy because in my mind, I'm like, yeah, this is the first veto comp. Like this is the first veto comp. They always do it. And yeah, the last Donnie won it, right?
Yeah.
And I think maybe that was it. I don't know. We can look it up.
Yeah. So I think there was a variant. Like they talked about, like when they were describing it, it was kind of confusing where there was like a thing where you like eliminate letters or something like that. Like, so it wasn't like a full like normal rerun of the spelling comp, but it was basically the same comp. You go dig through like mud and gunk. You find letters like on Scrabble tiles, and you go back to your station and try to spell the longest word.
Right. All right. So it was the first, Technotronics. Speaking of, it was the first veto comp in BB 11, 12, 13, 15, 16, 17, and 18. Which
so it's been
was
8
won
seasons.
by Polly Califiore. Was the last winner of this.
Yeah.
Polly, really underrated challenge player. He was really dominant that season. Like people don't remember that.
Yeah. I think a lot of people forget that, like, halfway through BB 18, everyone was complaining about how the game was set up for Polly to win, and then he got blindsided like 2 weeks later. So there you go. 8 seasons it's been since we've last got this competition, and again, this is a competition anybody could win this. Unless you're I guess Kathy from what was it, BB 13, like
BB 12, right?
BB 12, yes.
Stuck in the
molasses.
Caramel molasses. Yeah, that's what it was. That's so funny.
Yeah.
Oh God.
But yeah, like this is like most people can win this. Like it's a very, very equal, equitable comp. Like this is great. And we got Lisa, who I would not peg as a comp threat at all. It's like kind of like a rail thin woman. She ends up winning this. I can't remember what her word was. It's pretty good. I think it's like a 9 letter or something like that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. There's no understanding, or no responsibilities even. But I think like with the way that they were talking about eliminating letters, I think they like eliminated E, and like there was like a couple of like pretty common letters that got eliminated. So that then makes it obviously harder to make longer words. Pretty good. Now we have Lisa wins the veto, and the big question is who is going to be the replacement nominee? Everyone assumes Matt. Makes sense. Angela went on a diatribe against Matt in front of the entire house at breakfast, everyone, literally nobody had even finished their coffee yet, and she was already putting on a fucking Shakespearean play about how Matt is the devil incarnate. Like, it should be obvious, but like, alas.
Yeah, we were talking that afternoon, Ben, and I was just like, it has to be Matt, right? Like, you can't do that and then just not nominate him.
Mm-hmm.
You have to follow through.
Yeah, well, it's a long and windy road to get there. Because Angela, for much of Saturday and then even into Sunday a bit, because the veto ceremony wasn't until today on Monday, basically is going on an apology tour, apologizing to MJ in particular, apologizing to basically everybody who like she feels like she's wronged in the house. She's like trying to walk back the whole blow up and be like, that wasn't me, I was sleep deprived, etc. You know, I'm trying to like, you know, be a new me. Like, that's not really like, that's not how I want to be in the game. You know, she tries to have a one-on-one with Matt yesterday, where they kind of like lay everything on the table. You know, Angela apologizes to Matt, but I think the thing that really ends up sticking in Angela's craw here is that Matt doesn't apologize back to Angela that he was like targeting her and like putting her name out there behind her back, even though she apologized for the diatribe, kind of. She apologized for bringing his mom into it and like bringing MJ into it. She didn't like fully apologize. She kind of did like a half apology, but she saw her half apology as like more effort than his non-apology. So, and like, you know, Matt, it was a weird conversation. Like, it felt like people trying to like make up in like the most like it felt like two people who didn't want to make up trying to like pretend to make up, and like that's definitely how like I think it ended.
I want to ask you this, Ben. Who's having the bigger sleep deprivation story arc right now? Damon on House of the Dragon or Angela here on Big Brother?
I mean, you know, Angela hasn't tried to kill anybody yet.
That's true. So that's true.
She hasn't held a knife to anybody's throat. You know, she hasn't gotten evicted Justin style or ejected, I guess.
Oh my god.
Speaking of, I saw a thing where I was just a tweet that I was scrolling past, but it was like the Big Brother voice being like, "Please return the knives to the storage room." I was like, "Oh." I don't know what's happening with this cast. SpongeBob meme where he's like looking all panicked as my
like he's trying to push the kid away, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So you know, I guess you know, Angela's still, you know, a little bit less deranged, I guess.
Right.
Low bar.
Very.
Yeah. So here is where I think Matt really again wildly misplays this whole situation. His pitch, I guess, to Angela is, I am going to convince somebody to come volunteer themselves as a pawn in my place. Yeah, and the two people that he was mostly focused on were Tikor and Tucker. Those were the two names that like he was kind of like going to try to like basically shove under the bus to save himself. And it's going to come back to both of them today that happened, which is really bad for him. And yeah, Angela basically the entire day is talking to people like Quinn and Joseph and like, you know, all these people who are like kind of keeping her at arm's length, but still trying to like control her a little bit as much as is possible to control Angela. And they're like basically being like, hey, you have to nominate Matt, right? Even Tucker goes up to her and he's like, you can't have done that and not nominate Matt. You have to fucking nominate this guy now, right? Like, you're going to nominate him, you know? You don't put up Tikor, please. Like, even if she volunteers, do not put her up.
Right.
You have to put up Matt. And Angela is like still on this whole like, well, if Tikor, you know, if Tikor volunteers, I can put her up.
Holy shit.
Luckily for us, and for, you know, like, you know, for Tikor, I guess, and for like the sanity of of Big Brother as a game.
Right.
Tikor doesn't volunteer to go on the block. And today, earlier in the day, feeds go down for the veto meeting. Feeds come back up, and Matt is on the block. And MJ did not use her power to save him. Because she could have. She could have used the America's veto to save him. But no, it looks like she's saving it just in case she needs it for herself, which she probably will.
Yeah. And
week one.
Thinking through it, that's the optimal play for her advantage. I don't she can't get renommed by America, right? But even so, at least I don't think she can. That would suck if she could.
Presumably not.
Oh my god.
But even so, you gotta use it when it's most beneficial, and that's when your life is on the line, not someone else's. Yeah,
it's a get out of jail free card. You don't want to use it when somebody else is in jail, especially when MJ in one of the worst positions in the house right now. If she was in a safe position, maybe she could get away with it. She's not. She's almost guaranteed going on the block in the next 3 weeks. So 100% save it for yourself. I'm glad she made the selfish decision here. Even if we end up losing Matt, which I think it will probably hurt us for TV, I definitely think a smart game move for her.
Yeah, she's just gonna hope that Matt can win this AI comp and then be on the block next week. Basically, just be the block to her getting on the block if possible. Harder with 3 noms, obviously, but that's their strategy she's got to use right now.
Yeah.
And then hopefully reintegrate herself into the wider house, while separating herself from him. We'll see if she's capable of that. I don't know. It's kind of it's so simple when you just say here's what you got to do. Yeah. A lot different to actually pull it off.
Okay. Yeah. So I guess let's wrap up the Angela stuff with some of the things that just happened 2 hours ago, and then we'll try and also because we're hyper focused. Angela, definitely the start of the season. We're there's been so much talk about just her that there's an entire house structure that doesn't even involve her that we haven't even touched yet. Let's just quickly wrap up.
Yeah, give us the rundown of the house structure.
Well, let's wrap up Angela first, just to get it out of the way. Because we had this Angela and Kenny thing that needs to be touched on because it might be relevant for what happens later in the week.
Right.
Right now we have Chemo, Kenny, and Matt on the block. Those are the 3 people who are going to go into the AI arena on the live eviction. 2 of them are going to face eviction afterwards, and one of them is going to be the first person to get evicted from the game. Kenny, as we saw on the show, I think the edit, honestly, especially the first 2 episodes were throwaways for the most part. Sunday night episode, I thought was really good. I like that it was 90 minutes. I thought it gave us a well-needed introduction to a lot of the players and a lot of what's going on. And I think it really accurately told the story of what's going on this week so far. One of the things that's really, kind of pivotal here is that pretty much the only person that has given Kenny a lifeline in this game has been Matt. And it's also one of the only people that likes Matt. They're kind of the only other than Matt is MJ too, but other than that, they're really the only 2 people that really like each other in the house. So that's important. Kenny's up on the block, about to go into his AI arena later in the week against Matt. Angela confronts Kenny in the kitchen. Not really confronts him yet, but is talking to Kenny in the kitchen. Quinn is going to be awkwardly there for this entire time, visibly not happy and visibly squirming in his seat and wanting to leave, but staying for the information. And Angela says to Kenny, you got to put out a good fight on Thursday, right? And Kenny basically is like, no, I really don't want to, try that hard against Matt. I like Matt. I really don't want to be the thing that sends him out of the house. That sort of vibe. And she's like, what do you mean? Yeah, don't you want to be here? This is your life in the game. You're not gonna do your 100% because it's Matt. And Kenny kind of gets annoyed.
Brad.
Yeah, it's Matt. And Kenny gets annoyed and is basically like, look, we wouldn't even have this conversation if you hadn't put me in this predicament to begin with. Fair point.
Yeah. How dare you ask for favors
Yeah.
now? Like, you put me here.
And as Quinn will later, Quinn's gonna give like a camera talk in the half hour room later, giving his thoughts on this whole thing. As Quinn describes it, Angela is basically being a life coach to Kenny here in this moment, and Kenny is not having it at all. And she's like, "You got to go out there and fight for your all. This is like Big Brother. You came on the show, like you can't give up, on week one. What would that like show about yourself? Like, you gotta you can't just like roll over to this fucking guy who was like a little twerp. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna let Matt make you give up on the game." It's like kind of like halfway between encouraging and condescending. So yeah, this goes back and forth for quite a while. Kenny eventually leaves the room, and then Angela turns to the people in the room who are like, Quinn has been there the entire time. Chelsea, Cedric, Cam, I think, all walk in halfway through. I think Brooklyn kind of walks through to the bathroom at one point. And she's like, you guys listen to this? Like this guy's gonna just give up. It couldn't be me.
And I get it, because I always think about that. It's like, one, if they're not someone you care that much about, like we talked about in Survivor, like if someone wants to quit, I'm gonna let them quit, not making them quit, but I'm gonna be like, okay, you can quit, that's fine. Yeah. But Big Brother, maybe it's a little different, but I always think when people are on the edge, if you're trying to keep them, you just be like, look, when are you ever gonna be in this position to win this much money? There's so much money on the line. If you leave, you're gonna regret it. You're going to be like, damn, I'm, anytime you pay a bill, would be nice to have a little bit more money. You know what I mean? I don't know, maybe I'm money motivated, but it feels to me that $750,000 or the chance to get that would be enough to keep me locked in this house.
I mean, it's also a game, and for someone like Kenny, was 52, a police officer, pretty much towards the end of his career, he's not really gonna get any huge benefits from being on TV career wise, or showing that he's a good person. We know he's a good person, just from
well, you can get investigation discovery money. I think that's the deal.
Sure, but
Derek. I mean,
yeah, right. Only if you win.
If he's the first boom here, I don't know if anyone's gonna be giving calls.
Right. It's just, I mean, if it was to me, I totally get look. I mean, if it was the three of us in the house, and I would just look at you guys look, one of us is gonna go home, give it your all. I'd rather go out knowing I did my best than just quit. And it sucks that it's you guys, but it is what it is. It's the game. Who cares?
Yeah. Although if I was Matt and Kenny was like, I don't know if I want to try hard, I'd be like, yeah, man, you shouldn't.
Yeah, please don't.
It would actually really hurt my feelings if you tried in this. I will be trying my hardest, but I don't think you should.
Well, I think that was the more thing that really annoyed Angela the most. And Quinn also in his camera talk was like, I wasn't going to say anything. I'm not going to jump into that. I was, Quinn basically said that he agreed with Angela. That it's he was like, I agree with Angela, but that was not what Kenny needed to hear and not who he needed to hear it from at that point.
Yeah,
basically, which I think is the correct take. But yeah, I think the biggest thing that Angela was annoyed by was it sounded like Kenny was giving up because of Matt, and she was like, "This kid is not your son. You just met him. Why are you throwing away your chance at winning this game for this kid that you just met a week ago? You have no connection to him. If you want to give up because you want to give up, that's one thing. But I think giving up because you don't want to be the guy to take out Matt, it's I mean, you signed up for Big Brother. Big Brother is one person wins. You know what I mean? Everyone else has to lose in order for you to win. If you weren't down for that premise, you came on the wrong show.
It's literally week one. There hasn't even been an eviction yet.
Yeah, there's gonna be plenty of other chances for you to lose this season.
Mhm.
You don't have to do it now.
Yeah.
Quitter talk is just, I don't know. It always annoys me when
Mm.
I mean, in these shows. Like, even Survivor, like Jeff absolutely hates quitters.
Yeah.
Or even the idea of a quitter. It's just like, I don't know. Like, there's someone out there in the world who would love to be in your seat. So,
Oh yeah, I mean, being online and as like involved with the fandoms as we are, we know those people who would like
we are
do anything to be on. Yeah, I always say like I'm past my prime now. I would not do well on either of these shows. In my early 20s, sure, I would have done anything to be on Survivor or Big Brother, but not now. Don't put me on.
Edit that out. Edit that out.
I'm quite comfortable in my void talking shit about the actual contestants.
Mhm. Well, here's the thing, right? Somebody saying that they don't want to go on Big Brother, like, could be entertaining. I think I think that's what the producers have thought about in the past. Like, hey, somebody who like, let's put Meta World Peace on Celebrity Big Brother, see what happens.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a DM
God.
from was it Robin Cass to be like,
Mhm.
hey.
Yeah.
And then at that point, you can't turn it down. You have to
Yeah,
fucking go and complain the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah, be
Hey,
like
you're from
3 near
Boston,
the end
right?
of like we love people from Massachusetts. You're gonna have to say you're from Boston,
Mhm.
but we love you guys. So just come on here and just be a miserable son of a bitch for us for summer.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
To that I say you had your chance. Like my BBOTT audition tape that you didn't put me on.
Mhm.
Oh, no.
BB19 when we went to the casting call, Ben.
Yeah. I went as well for BB21. They didn't put me on either, so
That
That's
would have
all
been talking about 2 horrible seasons.
yeah. That's why I make the joke. Like, I'm glad I didn't get cast for either of those seasons.
Yeah.
Honestly, bottom 2 seasons end up.
Yeah, OTT would have been great, but the other 2 seasons horrible.
Yeah. So I guess that kind of wraps the Angela of the week. For now, at least. Maybe she'll get into another argument with somebody. She's gotten into a lot of arguments, and she's caused a lot of drama. And she's like pissed away all of her allies for the most part. So yeah. Well, if Angela, as the first HOH, is not coalescing this like 10-person alliance she was, speculating around herself, and this BB Guns alliance, this final 2 with Quinn,
Oh my God.
has basically turned into Quinn like kind of sort of manipulating her with an arm's distance, but also being very afraid of like getting too affiliated with her with like how it could possibly blow back on him. Then what is the like kind of main structure of the house? There's a lot of alliances. There's the Collective, which is kind of fake. The Barbershop, which is less fake. I would say if we're really kind of drilling down, the 5-person alliance that I think is the least not fake, or the least fake. Yeah, the least fake is the Pentagon, which I don't know if they're keeping that name. They've referenced that producers wanted them to change the name, but they keep saying the Pentagon.
We could not call it the Pentagon. I'm sorry. The government has that locked down.
Yeah, they got the DOD is on the phone with us. They're giving us the next. They're saying nope.
Sorry. Got it.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Real creative name though. 5-person alliance. Just call it the Pentagon. We're real brain trust this season. And that alliance is kind of like 2 3-person sub alliances smushed together. And the person at the fulcrum is somebody we haven't really talked about yet, which is Chelsea, who I think is playing one of the best games right now. So Chelsea has this trio on one side with her, Cedric, and Cam. That's one 3/5, 3 out of 5 of the Pentagon side. And then the other half of the Pentagon is Chelsea, Brooklyn, Quinn. So that's kind of where we're at. We have 2 3-person alliances that have smushed together into this 5-person alliance and Chelsea is the fulcrum. That's kind of like the tall and short of it. Then we have a few other pieces on the board. Tucker was quiet for a while, but eventually him and Joseph ended up making a final two alliance. So that's kind of been playing out. And Tucker, who previously, yeah.
There you go, guys.
Yep, our winner picks. And Tucker, who previously was seemed to have an issue with T-Core, now seems to have actually formed a connection with T-Core, and they're also becoming somewhat close because most of Tucker's ire has shifted to Matt, and also in particular to Lisa, who we kind of saw the setup on the Sunday night show when they were doing their introductions. Lisa,
that was weird.
Yeah,
that she did that, right? That was like stealing thunder.
Uncomfy, not uncomfy in the bad way, but as Chad has referenced a few times, there's a lot of kind of cringe stuff going on.
Right.
Yeah.
And Lisa, butting in on Tucker's introduction and being like, "Hey, I'm a chef too. I'm a chef. I'm a better chef than you, I bet."
Holy fuck.
Oh man! And allegedly, the streets are saying, not a very good chef.
Yeah.
This is what I've heard.
Yeah, the streets being Tucker very loudly a lot. I guess what were your thoughts on that part of the episode? We kind of scooted over the introduction segment.
That was I didn't like that she did that. Just let you'll have your turn.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to skip you. You're going to be able to introduce yourself. I don't know. But the rest were fine. Very normal. Big Brother. But that
very
moment strange and does make you kind of understand that's where Tucker started with her.
Mm-hmm.
And everything she's done since then has just been more and more for him to not like her.
Yeah.
A lot of people getting off on the wrong foot this season.
Which is great. Love it.
Good TV. It's going to continue. Wednesday night's episode, I assume, is going to be fantastic. Thursday night's probably going to be pretty good as well. So we're really cooking so far. As Brian referenced, Lisa is a cook. According to I haven't ate her food, so I can't say personally, but the streets are saying not a good cook, and she is not letting anybody else cook, which is annoying Tucker, who wants to be cooking, and Lisa's the one going through and cooking all the food and insisting that she cooks every meal. So this is the real stupid and petty, but really hilarious kind of one-sided feud that Tucker has with Lisa now.
It's wonderful. It's
crazy.
I keep making Survivor references. Shades of Jerry and Keith from Australia. Jerry being like, "This guy is a chef because could have fooled me."
Yeah, people are making Turner and Jasmine comparisons as well.
More contemporary and also the right show.
Yeah. So that's kind of where those people are. Chemo has been quiet but social, to the point where Angela felt comfortable using him as a pawn and thought that he would likely stay in most circumstances, which I agree with. I think he is likely to stay in most circumstances. Mm-hmm. You never know. You might go home on Thursday. It's still a possibility. There's stranger things have happened, but so far he seems okay. He's definitely had a slow start. Who else? Who haven't we really talked about yet? I guess Leah. We haven't really talked about. Leah. I referenced that she kind of ended up catching a little bit of the strays for Joseph's move to tip off Angela about the Matt and MJ stuff, which ends up actually kind of ironically being good for her game because it's pushed her away from Matt and MJ, because otherwise she had really glommed onto them as a third wheel, which normally wouldn't be that big of a deal, because even if Matt stays this week, next week, if he's still a house target, on a normal season, it would be like, oh yeah, just put Matt and MJF on the block. But there's 3 nominees this season, so if you're going to expand that to a third, that's a dragnet that Leah easily could have kind of fallen into, and she still might, but she's definitely like pushed herself away, and she's kind of gotten closer to Quinn, and like that's kind of a possible pair that we might see turn into something later on the road. Yeah, that's a good pair. I guess that's most of the people. Anyone else that we haven't really touched on?
What's Cam doing? What's Chad's winner pick doing?
Well, Cam is in the Pentagon Alliance. He's been quiet. He's been like quietly social, but like doing enough strategically. He's in. I think he's also in the Barbershop Alliance. Like he's kind of just been default thrown into a lot of these alliances. Which
great place to be this early in the game. Yeah. You're getting included and you're not standing out. Perfect.
Yeah. For somebody like as obviously physically dominating as he is, for him to be like this quiet and under the radar and like able to play kind of a very low-key social game so far, pretty impressive. Like hats off to him for being able to maintain that position. Obviously, like a big part of that is like Matt is dragging so much of the aggro at him that there's really not enough to go around to other people. But yeah, he's in a solid spot. So yeah, I would say the people in the best spot right now are Chelsea, and I'd say Quinn and Brooklyn are also in a pretty good spot. Brooklyn is another person who kind of just gets consistently default thrown into a lot of these like half-fake alliances that keep popping up. Like she was in more alliances that she was thrown in when she wasn't in the room than I think that she was in like she was in like alliances that she didn't even know existed for several days.
Not a bad spot to be, I guess. So long as no one's like, I can't believe you betrayed this alliance. Like I didn't know I was in this alliance.
Yeah, I think like she isn't in the collective because like that's the thing. There's like 6 or 7 people who have kind of been playing the middle and like been stoking fires of these, Angela versus Matt thing. And it's kind of like this, Chelsea, like Joseph. Chelsea has honestly been doing almost as much shit stirring as Joseph and getting away with it better, in my opinion. Chelsea, Joseph, Brooklyn to a degree, Quinn especially. Like all these kind of people in the middle have been like really creating like a really positive structure around them. So those are kind of the people to watch right now.
All right.
Awesome.
Well, yeah, I think we did a good job for the first episode anyways. Now just to edit it and put it up. Anything you guys want to shout out, promote, Chad, anything you want to do?
I got nothing. I'm just excited for another season of Big Brother. A little late this year, but hey, we're back.
We are back. All right. How about you, Ben?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm excited. The season's starting off mostly strong, and I'm cautiously optimistic about this cast continuing to bring it. But I really did enjoy the first like month and a half of last season as well, and it like heavily fell off towards the end. Yeah. So I'm not holding my breath for this to be an incredible season all the way through just yet, but a lot of really good early signs. So knock on wood.
Yeah, it should be exciting, and I'm also very excited for Big Brother to be back. We have our other podcast that's running right now, which is about House of the Dragon. Go check it out on the channel. We've been talking about kind of expanding our television coverage as it goes. So I'm sure you'll see a lot more, maybe Rings of Power podcasts coming up. Should be good, but should be a fun time. And then the main channel, we can get everything. I got a video in the can. I just got to edit it about College Football 25 coming back and why that's a big deal, and the whole saga of why it went away and then why it came back now. So keep an eye out for that on where you get everything. And other than that, thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you all in the next one.